All right, here we go. It's August 13th, 2012, and it's Reality Supreme Being, also known as HRM Caesar St. Augustine de Bonaparte, and it's Cryptic Predictions. I should call it Quantum Cryptic Predictions, but I can't put it down there on the screen. It'll be a double bar. It'll be a double bar like this, all the way across the screen, and it cuts me out of the picture quite a bit. Anyway, that's what this software is like, so there's not much I can do about it. I'll try to sit in the middle of the screen maybe, but I might want to put a thing here, a little bar. There might be a bar here that will have a lot of writing and stuff on it. All right, my other 3 videos from yesterday, pretty much I loaded them today, and they pretty much tell you what I'm going to tell you now. I'm going to add some more to about cryptic predictions, is how they work in the quantum dark matter matrix network. And how these predictions work is that when you make one prediction and it actually comes true in one form or another, it's pretty much a piggyback prediction, because that prediction is linked to another event, and then that second event is linked to another event. It hops. It's kind of like what they say in the television when they say movie stars die in threes, which is just another wives' tale, But then again, maybe it isn't, because what we're boiling down to here is that if the whole universe, according to string theory, is all connected, some electron entanglement will be stronger than others. Even though all electrons will react instantaneously to any event that takes place on a DNA level between all living creatures, all the way down to bacteria and viruses, when these similar reactions, to every cause, to every effect, there's a reaction, and there's usually a cause behind it. And there is conscious and subconscious actions, and these actions can manifest themselves in a hidden level, which would be at the subconscious level, and an outward level, which is at the conscious level. A lot of people, let's take James Holmes for instance. So he goes and he thinks, and he's, did he have any did he go to any shooting ranges? Did he test out those weapons? Did he practice someplace? Did anybody see him practicing? Because when you go into a thing like that, you have to have some awareness of what you're doing with those weapons. Weapons recoil in your hands. There's one story many, many years ago where an expert, now listen carefully, this is all true stories, that works in the LAPD, of which you already know, I hate all police, but this story happened, I believe it happened in the late 70s, early 80s. And there's an expert in weapons working in the weapons department of the LAPD, and they had some automatic weapon that needed to be tested. Well, evidently this expert had not practiced or kept in practice the firing of a fully automatic weapon. Because whether it's a Mac 10 or an Uzi or a Swedish submachine gun or any of the machine guns that have been made, full auto tends to be uncontrollable. Even semi-auto can reach a level of uncontrollability. So you have to practice to be able to know what to expect in recoil, to be able to succeed in whatever deed you're going to do, even if the deed is, whether the deed is good or bad, you have to have some experience. So the news media hasn't published any of that yet. Now, I don't know whether the Colorado Police Department is allowing that information to be published, because publishing it might compromise the trial. But if the person is mentally ill, then everything should be known about, so that people would be more aware, especially people hearing someone out in the middle of the desert shooting a bunch of stuff. They would be more tempted to say, why don't we have those people checked out and make sure we know who they are, and at least there's a record of them being out here doing this at that time. Because that sets up precedents. Now, this is something the fusion centers, of which there's like 82 of them, according to the Jesse Ventura videos where he talks about conspiracies. He talks about these fusion centers, which is a combination of all federal, state, and local police departments who work together to brainstorm and try to predict these terrible events that take place. Obviously, it didn't work in Colorado, even though a fusion center, one of the biggest ones, is only a few miles away from Aurora. It's just a hop, skip, and a jump. You could bicycle there, actually, from the theater where this took place. You could bicycle there from James Holmes' apartment. So the other day, actually yesterday night, I was at Starbucks, and the police were called out. I'm sitting there talking to somebody, and they asked me to step outside. And I said, "What's the wrong?" I'm in here. Nobody's doing anything. They said, "We need to talk to you." So I walked out, and I thought it might have been some agency who's seen my videos and realizes that I've introduced something brand new to the world, this quantum dark matter matrix predictor, which has been very successful, which I have not been able to prove to people other than through videotapes, and the media censors me. So my guess is they've been stealing from me all these years, including my prediction about the 9/11 event, which was 7 years before it happened. Now, certain sets of current events that are happening around you tend to multiply, they increase in power. They have their own power that it's like charging a battery, and so it just keeps going and going and going. In the end, the event happens, and it happens because there happens to be a person whose harmonic, elemental, vibratory vibrations at the atomic level happen to match harmonically the self-perpetuating energy that this idea has caught on. And so this tends to set up the conditions, kind of like setting your ducks up in a row, or setting your dominoes up, to have a terrible event take place. Now, these fusion centers do all kinds of scenarios, tons of them, and they've been being done for decades. Nuclear war scenarios, like in the movie War Games, which was released in 1984. There's other movies that have shown scenarios that they do all the time. But my computers are never wrong. They never have been. Almost every event that I knew about, whether it was an hour before it took place, or a few days, or a few weeks, or even a few years, I knew about them, and I had clues that led me to the conclusions that only a certain number of possible events were going to take place from the current events that had already taken place. Some of them you have to kind of read body language, like in the show The Mentalist. You have to really know your body language. You have to know circumstance as well. Certain set of circumstances that start to create themselves in a society, whether it's by one person or a group of people, or even a whole government and the whole people voting for this fake dual dictator president that you people have, a dictatorship presidential anomaly, which is what it is. It's a dictatorship. You can never have a non-Democrat and a non-Republican president. Why? Because it is a scam. I mean, I'm a presidential candidate. Why is the media, interviewing me? Right now we're at 9 minutes in the thing. I think I've said enough about the quantum matrix. There's a lot that I left out, and I left it out on purpose because I don't want to give up too much of what I already know and what's even more brand new and shocking. Further under the situations that take place on a day-by-day basis. Now, let's talk about the presidency. Now, I see ABC, NBC, and CBS. They're sitting there and they're interviewing Romney, and now it's Ryan. They were interviewed this morning, and Obama. And before, Ryan and Romney were pitted against each other as presidential candidates. Now he's being picked as a vice president, and now he's talking totally in agreement with Romney. And they're talking how well Ryan is liked in Capitol Hill and all that kind of stuff. But what's really sad about all this is that none of this is true. All of it is handled by Bilderberg Group, Trilateral Commission. All this is big money interest. These candidates have raised millions of dollars. They spend those millions of dollars to ABC, CBS, NBC, CNN. So of course they're obligated to cover them. It isn't just because they travel the country that they're covered. That's a lot of hogwash. I traveled with my older twin when he was running for president, and he got some media attention, but it wasn't anything near what the other candidates were getting. So when they tell you that poor people have the same equal rights and privileges as rich people, that's totally a lie. Poor presidential candidates don't have a snowball's chance in hell. Why? Because they can't purchase millions of dollars of commercial time, which pretty much buys their assured guarantee that they're going to be covered by all mainstream media. So lesser known candidates aren't going to be paid attention to, unless the candidate does more than 300 videos, and there's more than 8,000 people now that have heard of me. Only I can count less than 10 people that disagreed with any of the videos that I have. Now that I've let the cat out of the bag and told everybody that every one of my videos has had previous rehearsal to tie in to the quantum matrix network predictors. And I left clues, just like the Joker would leave clues to Batman about a crime the Joker was going to commit, or the Riddler, or the Iceman, or Penguin. So now I've started using the comic book and the Aurora shooting as a riddle, and the Batman drama as riddles for the people of the United States to realize that I do know what I'm talking about. I know more than these presidential candidates, and I am more in a position to be 100,000 times more efficient than any of these candidates running, no matter how much money they got in their pockets. Now I've had 12 different challenges. The last one I made for this last month, these presidential candidates have to meet me on stage before the last day of Ramadan. Otherwise, something real bad is going to happen. Just like what happened at Aurora, Colorado, just like what happened in Wisconsin, and just like what happened in LA here when the Cessna 210 crashed, which I predicted 4 days before it happened. And I predicted it with the words London Flight 222. And I did that on purpose because I knew the number 12 represents the number 21, which is represented by the Joker, which is a card in the card deck for blackjack, 21, as an enemy to Batman and as a riddle to everybody. And there were 12 people that died, and there were 7 people that died in the Sikh temple. And the crash, the airplane crash, is an indicator of more crashes that are coming. But I'm not going to tell you which flights there are because you're not worthy to know. You people took all my cars, my trucks, my boats, my motorhomes. You did all that damage, and you think I'm going to give you something for free? Think again. I'm not going to give you nothing. Like I said, you're in a position to do something. Take your money out of the banks, form protests all over the country, stop buying gasoline. You boycott the whole United States of America, and I guarantee you every congressman, senator, federal, state, and local, even your mayor's office, are going to be on their knees to you, begging you to put your money back in the banks. Show them that you're the boss, that you're tired of these shootings. Show them. You're the chickens. I'm the one that's telling you this is all you have to do. You don't have to march on the street and protest and get your head beat in by cops and have a riot. You don't have to do any of that. Just go in quietly, brainstorm with all your neighbors, get together. Those of you that have a lot of money in the bank, start pulling it out. Besides, that's advisable anyway. In this economy, the gas prices shot up to over $4 a gallon. I mean, this is going on and on. So, yeah. Oh, okay. All right.
Please.
All right. I'm almost done. See, even here, you're getting talked to. It's like The insanity is unbelievable. So, when a person is trying to do good, this kind of thing happens. So could you please talk lower? Talk lower about what? I'm not talking that loud. So this is your chance to do something. If they don't answer by the presidential candidates by the end of Ramadan, like I told you, I already know what's going to happen. I've given hints of it throughout all of my videos. Remember, if I predicted 9/11 7 years before it happened, and I've only been doing these videos for 3 years, how many years ahead do you think I have in all my 300 videos on YouTube? Now I've got you thinking, and I know I've got your attention. Mr. President, Mr. Alleged President, Romney, Ryan, Vice President Biden, you need to meet me on stage so I can beat the hell out of you on stage and show people what it really, really takes to be a leadership. Because you people don't know a hell of a thing about anything. Talk to you later.